And I've been in relationships where I'm being told what I can and can't do. And I do have a rebellious streak. If somebody tells me not to do something, that's when I want to do it.
Get ready to feel the rhythm and move to the beat as we take a journey through the dynamic and vibrant world of dance. From kizomba, salsa, bachata, and Afrobeat, we debunk myths, discuss ideas, music, dance floor etiquette, and everything you need to know to become a high-value dancer. This is the Rhythm Tribe. Welcome back to the Rhythm Tribe. Again, we were just coming back from having Carlos and Anna on board. And obviously that was very stimulating conversation, having them on board to be able to talk about teaching and relationships and partner work. And now we're going to be able to jump into the second half of that, which is going to be the singles and getting a couple of married people on set as well. I'm excited about that. However, before we do that, I want you to go right now and subscribe, like, share, and we'll try to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And we fully believe in you. So all the angles just point to press everything. Okay? So, Ari, what do you think so far?
Oh, I'm loving it. This is a hot topic. This is a really hot topic.
I think you're going to be on this set for the next 3 hours.
I think there's like part 1, part 2, I prayed part 4. There's just so many angles as well. And it's really good to have Perpetual, who I actually met. I think you were one of the first people I met when I started dancing.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, see, yeah. And Basil also met along the way, actually within the first year of my starting to dance. We actually met in Croatia at the dance stuff.
I mentioned that. Yeah. I had so much behind the cameras actually. And that's the point you leave out.
Hey man, you know when the right opportunity comes up, it will.
You're an international guy, okay.
Okay, so we'll have both of you introduce yourselves, tell us a bit about yourselves, tell us where you're from, what that you do, how long you've been in the community, what keeps you around, and then we'll get into everything of our relationships.
Sounds good.
Ladies first. Now.
Ladies first, okay. Ladies first, men before, okay, fine. Hello guys, my name is Perpetual Nyambura. I'm a dancer and a maths girl. So I'm passionate about dance and investments. I run a dance studio on Thika Road, teaching salsa, bachata, kizomba, among other dances as well. Kenyan dances, African dances, like Momboko dance. I don't know how many guys are familiar with Momboko. I do not teach, but I have partnered with other instructors. Exactly. Yeah. Someone challenged me to try and do something that is also Kenyan, now that you're doing Angolan dances and other Latin dances as well. So, yeah, I instruct salsa, bachata, kizomba, and also sell dance attire, starting with the dance shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think everybody wears your shoes.
Yeah. Trying to get everyone to have a Passion and Fuego dance shoes. Yeah.
Find on Instagram, on social media. I think it's all platforms.
Passion and Fuego.
Get in the shoes. Ladies, don't dance in flat shoes. I'm kidding. But yeah, comfortable shoes definitely your forte.
Yeah, 100%. Comfort is key.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then closer on.
Yes.
We have the most absolute joker. I'm kidding, Chief. I'm so glad you came through this week. I'm so excited to have you on the show. I think we've bonded over a lot of things.
Yes, a lot of things.
One of them has been partying constantly, of course, with the Sense of Cell. We're here again. So if you missed out for Lenny, watch the first episode, watch the second one. We'll put some episodes, some content out for you later on, and then we can see what you can do for the next one.
Yeah.
So, Chief, tell us about yourself.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Basil May. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. Been dancing for about 5 years. Salsa, bachata, kizomba. The bug bit me in 2018 and it doesn't let me go. I've traveled all over. I've made many friends. And then, I've got a day job too, unfortunately, that pays the bills, all of the dance bills. So I'm also a psychologist, which helps me understand some of the dances a little bit more too.
That's the one that can give the medicine.
No.
Or the psychiatrist.
No.
Psychiatrist.
No. I'm the one that does the therapy. It's like the same thing you do when you're dancing, right? It's moving meditation. So the same thing, psychology is like that too.
You put me on the chair and you ask me, how do you feel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, at least now we know the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
Okay, Bunisana, I've job and now you've understood what the term.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can lose your passport and you stay in Kenya for a bit longer.
Can you go in Jumbo?
That's fine. That's fine. I could.
Kuna Matata.
The thing would be seeing him over and over again.
Hey, this is a beautiful place, man. Really, really. And the people are amazing. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed just in general with dance. But hey, Nairobi's been good. Watamu's been good to me. I probably will be back, yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to be able to bring in that aspect of where that couch divides, right? So we've got somebody obviously who's married on set. We've got somebody whose father is not at that company. We've got somebody who's dated in the community. We're all about trying to build relationships and see what it is that connects us all and share our experiences and our stories. Myself and Anne-Marie will be doing the same thing whenever something pops up. This is definitely going to be interesting. And so let's jump into it. Who's married and who's not? By the show of hands.
What about the show just shoot up?
Very much my
That's beautiful. How long have you been married?
Looking forward to our first 1 year anniversary, 30th of April.
Very nice.
Yeah. So yeah, planning the trip, anniversary, holiday, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, but dated for a while. Dated for about a decade. So same person.
Same person.
Important.
We've almost a decade. So yeah, so my best friend just only that we had an event called a wedding.
That's the best. That's the best. That's nice.
Yeah.
And he's a dancer, not a dancer.
Not a dancer.
Not.
Luckily, not a dancer. Luckily for me. String. Well, he can dance maybe in the confines of the living room for just by himself. But no, he's not a dancer. But I do dance.
Did you ever wish that he was? Did you ever encourage him to try or to?
Yeah, with the hope of getting a no, which he did. I mean, yeah, just
Check the box.
yeah. He's
Don't say I never.
asked that he joins the classes. I've tried just because I love dance so much, and of course it will be amazing in another world. It will be nice to travel with him, teach with him, experience dance cultures, different people with him. But also for me, particularly dance is also my escape. You know, like a different world where I can be, you know, just be. So that is amazing to have because in a way I'm also with him. But also this is a personality thing where I prefer having that kind of space. Yeah. But also he is not so much into dance. So it's not like he's restricted and he's dating someone. He's dating someone who he feels he can't be himself. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my main first question will come straight to you.
Yeah.
Basil, don't worry about it. We're coming to you.
I'm perfectly fine.
We're not.
Yeah, I'm just until I just need a drink.
I think probably the most questions that come to you because I'm not yet married.
Yeah.
Naturally. And I think wanting to eventually get married with somebody who's in the community, I think you're one of the blueprints that we need to kind of start following into. Not necessarily, obviously, every relationship is different. Even friendships that are formed on the dance community leads to more or not. Either way, it's all about connection and that version of a relationship. So I guess I would be asking is, how did he take it when he saw you dancing for the first time at a social?
I wish you would. Yeah. He's a typical Kenyan, of course, African man.
Okay.
I think while we were young, if we've dated I was 20, maybe 2021. And at the time, I think for him, he would have to confirm the same. It's more, he wants me to just be happy. And of course, he's trying to pursue me. So whatever is given, he kind of takes, just like I would.
Did he ever question or feel threatened or suspect that, it might not be as clean as the reason I ask is I personally know know men who are uncomfortable, you know, so they might meet you or meet the woman when she's already dancing, but then get to a point where they're like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
it's too close, I'm not comfortable, I don't like that person.
Yeah.
And then kind of try to interfere or to poke holes at
Yeah.
what it is that you're saying.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, you sort of have to do more in terms of assuring your other person, especially if that person is not in the dance community or is not a dancer. And also over communicates, explain if needed be, if he's there with you, probably also be intentional about giving him attention. But also some things you can see certain advances. Someone can see somebody trying to do something with you or to you, generally speaking, even away from dance. So if you're dating someone who is not a dancer and you're with your chick in a bar, and a random dude comes in to talk to her, depending on how the person approaches your chick, you can tell if this is okay, this is not okay, generally speaking. So, of course, besides you as a dancer trying to assure your partner more, maybe give him attention, in a situation he feels maybe someone is not respecting my space, he will definitely vocalize it, which has happened over time. But going back to the first initial stages of him taking me for a social, it's more of, I want to experience what you like because you're trying to get to know each other. And then now after that, then he can judge depending on what
And
comes.
what you see,
Yeah.
you feel that comfortable.
So I think generally speaking, also he has an open mind. Generally speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like great.
Yeah.
What most people are looking for, I believe. Especially people who are dancers in the community are looking for something along those lines that's proper and that allows people to be themselves.
Yeah.
I guess which brings me then to you because she
Yes.
dating,
No, I'm not dating at the moment.
but you dated in the community.
I have, yes, I have.
Then I guess the question I would ask would be in the same direction of having a partner at the time who's either a dancer or not a dancer in the community that you've kind of brought in, and then you able to have them kind of explain, I'm just dancing, and then but you then have to be able to walk a very tight rope between giving them attention and giving them
Right.
everything that they require, whether it's I was about to say physically, but I meant dancing physically and the dance
Yeah.
emotionally having them as well enjoy the night, you know.
Yeah, sure. Look, I never planned to date a dancer, but you spend so much time dancing, and I mean, I think any dancer that's been in the scene for more than 6 months, you've invested so much already. So I never planned to date in the scene. It happened. I got struck by lightning, and hey, what can I say?
How soon was that? In between?
Wow. So okay, let's start here. So I started dancing while I was getting divorced because I needed something to do that was, I want to say, adult and not go out and party too much. So I figured this is a nice way of meeting people and finding a way to be social. The first class, I felt like I was speed dating. Anyway, so let's move on from there.
They change partners.
Yes. Sorry. Me just, yeah. Of course, that's what I mean. So, I mean, I just needed something that was busy. So I said, okay, this was 2018. 2019, end of 2019, that lightning bolt hit me, and I was like, "Ish, no. This was the dance partner. This was the partner, and it's a very interesting thing because I now can't see myself dating somebody who doesn't understand dance or who isn't a dancer at this stage. Just it's such a big part of my life, and they must understand that when I'm on the scene, when I'm at a social, I'm for everybody. You all see me, I dance with every single person in the room. And so they must be okay that they might not get the attention then, but there were certain rules that we had. One of them was that our first and our last dance was with each other. So that's just indicating to the room that this is my person. And so it was understood. Of course, it got challenged at times, but yeah. The other side was that she was also quite popular. So also got a lot of dancers. So that's why I'm saying I don't think I'd be able to date somebody who's not a dancer for me personally, because they must understand that this is a dance and that's all it is. And so must I as well. So yeah, that's kind of what it was like for me.
I think that's most of the stories that are around especially considering that you're also a teacher. You teach bachata, salsa,
Kizomba.
kizomba, and you said also the most recent one,
Momboko.
and Lombok.
Yeah.
Can you say that? You know what comes to my mind?
What comes-
The song Myomboko. You being a teacher and a dancer, but then having a partner who's not either of those. When you have to then come up with rules and regulations or procedures like Basil would do when he's dating in terms of the first song, last song, or I've gone for class, stay at home, or go do something else with the boys, and come back, we'll find each other later on.
Nothing, actually, no, not rules per se. I mean, that will be complicated and a lot, given, of course, the structure of a social. There are festivals randomly all over, so many options to have, and of course, he also has a different schedule and all this. I think our rules are the basic, normal, if you're dating anyone, kind of rules. So respect, boundaries, depending on what your kind of boundaries with your partner look like. So normal, it has nothing to do with the dance. It's just our relationship, the normal relationship boundaries. Yeah.
I think a lot of it, and to your point, it depends on the maturity of a couple. It depends on seriousness of how serious and take the relationship and how aligned. So I'm really big on how aligned people are in terms of their values, because you could date somebody who's insecure. So you might be able to talk about certain rumors, but if they're insecure, then I think very often those rules will be challenged.
Yeah, true.
Because yes, you met in the dance floor, you met on the scene, but if they feel insecure about other guys generally, I think whether you're dancing the first or the last dance, they'll always be looking over to see who it is that, so I think a lot of it also depends on
Yeah, true. I think also it helps having different things that you genuinely love and enjoy. So for instance, he's in a different profession where he's away for a while. So if I didn't have my thing that I really love and enjoy, I would constantly be waiting for him to call, insecure, what is he doing elsewhere. So we generally have to have the trust that we have. And the same thing for him now towards me, whether I'm dancing or doing anything else. Of course, one of the perks of dancing is being able to travel. Like for me, dance is my biggest excuse to travel. So if I want to go to whatever country, I'm like, when is their festival? And then now my calendar aligns to that. And of course, because he loves traveling, so now there's dance, travel, and the two of us. So I could attend a workshop for 3-4 days, and then we're there for another 3 days. So you both find your balance of saying how you can have the things that both of you enjoy and also things that you enjoy separately.
I've dated people at one point, or someone at one point who asked me to stop dancing. And I thought it was an issue about the dancing, but you realize it's not actually about the dance.
I've been in relationships where I'm being told what I can and can't do. And I do have a rebellious streak. If somebody tells me not to do something, that's when I want to do it.
I think, Anne-Marie, I would just perhaps want to get your story on things, because you mentioned you were divorced and you had you dated in the dance scene and not in the dance scene. How did that go for you?
Okay, so similar to Basil, I started dancing, but it was way after I got divorced. So it wasn't just an initial thing. For me, it was when my kids were grown and leaving to go off to university. And I needed something that was going to fill my evenings. There's only so much of watching TV and reading, whatever. And I'm not the kind of person that would have been okay to go to bars every single night, as much as I like to socialize. So learning salsa was something that I always wanted to do. And being alone as an empty nester, it gave me that opportunity. And for me to be able to take it seriously, like you mentioned, travel. So I love to travel. So I wanted to develop a hobby that would enable me to solo travel, meet people, and do something that I'd now grown to be really passionate about. So up until I started dancing, I had been in a relationship, but that was a relationship, unfortunately, where I didn't try to introduce the dance aspect, but we weren't aligned, in that respect. I think it takes, you have to be interested in it to develop that passion takes a lot of time, and not everybody is wired that way. But anyway, so moving along, got into the scene and got into a relationship with somebody that I met, sort of in the wider community. And initially just thought, wow, this is great, because like Basil has said, I don't see myself dating somebody outside the community, because this is something that is really core and central to my life right now. I'm out dancing at least 5 nights a week. And it's a fun passion to be able to share with somebody that you can enjoy it with. And that's what I thought that I had. And I think it became a challenge. It became a hot mess, I think because at the end of the day, whether you're a dancer or non-dancer, I think human beings are quite complex anyway. And in as much as dancing together and having a steady dance partner was fantastic, there were elements that were great. So for example, he was a great dance partner and I enjoyed dancing with him. But the rest of the human being, so to speak, in terms of levels of trust and respect and security or insecurity, started to infringe on or mess up what it is that actually had drawn me to him.
Right.
And so situations where, and I'll be really open. So situations where, I'd be dancing with another guy and, that he comes and interrupts the dance because, I don't like the way he's dancing, is too close and what's going on,
Right.
you must know it. So that speaks deeper than,
About the person,
about the person. But it also, to me, suggests that if you're reacting like that, there's a level of projection, because I haven't given any reason. And this is what at least,
Because it's never really about the dancing.
I don't think it's about the dancing. But at the same time, again, if I'm to be very honest, it goes back to the whole confidence and security thing and how a relationship starts. Because I know how he, for lack of a better word, tuned me, out on the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I know how our relationship started, there would be times where I would be now extra vigilant to see how he was dancing with other people. And if I saw a hint of that already, my radar was already up. So I'm not naturally an insecure person, but I found that I was battling with periods of insecurity based on
How he would.
and what I believed was likely to happen, which, as things unfolded, was exactly what it is. So I think your gut doesn't lie. And I think if you can get in a relationship with somebody whose values are really aligned with yours, and where, communication is open, and where your basic tenets or whatever it is that you believe a relationship should be, great. But I think it's not... I think I used to be a bit romantic about the whole of, I just want to meet a dancer and we'll live happily ever after. Forgetting that.
But it does not work that way.
Forgetting that it really doesn't work like
Dirty dancing is the only place that can happen.
Yeah. So that, that's my experience. So do I see myself dating a non-dancer? I would struggle. But if they are a non-dancer that is secure, again, it's going back to the security and the way the person is wired. Like, I could see myself being with somebody who is like super confident and secure in who they are, to the point they're like, okay, this is what Anne-Marie likes to do. Go do your thing and whatever. But I would still miss out on the fact that, because this is something that I enjoy so much, I want my man with me, I would like for him to whatever. But having said that, I would also like for him to give me the freedom, like you're saying. So the freedom to dance. I love what you're saying about, your former relationship, that formula of the first and the last dance and everything then in between is, you're giving each other the freedom and the acceptance to be who you essentially are.
Yeah.
But alongside that, for me, I would love it if if we could follow certain cues as well. So like very non-verbal cues where, yeah, you're alert, you're not in each other's faces, but
You understand.
you understand. Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Because
when we're kids and our moms who just give us a look and you just be like, oh,
they just, yeah,
I've messed up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I think also potentially then it saves a lot of fights.
Yeah.
You know, if you understand each other and you're attuned to each other, and you communicate openly and honestly.
Yeah.
So that is in a nutshell.
Okay. I'll give you something similar. I don't want to rant on in the monologue because, like I said, we could be here for 3 hours. But mine was quite similar, and I have come to the conclusion through my experience that I can also never be with anyone who's not a dancer, or at least doesn't understand. But even that is still a bit of a struggle. I've dated people at one point, or someone at one point who asked me to stop dancing, and I thought it was an issue about the dancing, but you realize it's not actually about the dance.
So was it because I don't like you dancing because you're dancing with other women, or is it I don't want you dancing because that's time away from me?
Both.
Okay.
So it happened to be both, because it now I think she kind of realized that it was about me stepping away from her to give everything of who I am in terms of my attention, my fondness for the people who are around, because we don't just cuddle people we don't know. You actually form a connection, and you end up being friends with a lot of people in terms of relationships, not just being about love and romance. And so when you're with someone on the dance floor, you have to give everything about who you are. So they notice that. They then become a little bit insecure, which is where the part of insecurity kind of comes from, which is okay to kind of see and just kind of accept it's just part of it and then just move on. But when I started dancing, I did it for about 3 months. I was fully miserable. I hated my life. I hated going to work. I hated getting out of bed. I hated seeing pictures and videos of everybody else dancing. Because you get fully miserable and you're like, oh, but I know that move. And you're like, I'm not dancing anymore. Yeah. So then I ended up going through, of course, a breakup that happens on every, not every, clearly not every. Clearly not every. But I ended up breaking up with someone on the dance floor, and it then pulls you away from the scene. So which now brings in that other side of that coin where you have to either choose which parties you're going to go to, because it's a sore time for you. And you have to start realizing which place you're going to go for a party. Is the dance going to be the same? This is something that you used to do with somebody that you clearly cared about. Is the feeling the same anymore? Things get a bit complicated for a while. And I remember I had to stop going to a specific party, which I clearly loved. But because they were more prominent there, or they were known there more, whether it was because I felt I would not be understood because of what the situation is, or so on and so forth, I had to then stop doing something that I loved, which became now the dark side of that entire situation. Just to shoot that to you, because
Shaking his head.
it's just like, I know that one. I know that one.
Not bad.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity, tell us about the. I mean, you've obviously dated in the community, and you're not married, and you're not dating at the moment.
No.
So clearly, there was a split somewhere. How did that affect you in a slightly negative way in terms of coming back to the dance floor?
Sure. Okay. So, so I had to go away for work for about 6 months, right? So it kind of worked out nicely. However, in that period, there were a couple of festivals and things that came up. So yes, we would share the space, and it's so odd, because obviously the breakup was amicable, but everybody else just looked at us and just felt like, what happened? And everybody else was a bit more worried or more concerned and more heartbroken, I want to say, than us.
They were invested in your relationship.
And listen, we were like the poster child.
Beyonce and Jay-Z or something like that.
Anyway.
That's so good.
But, well, the funny thing is, I think there was 1 or 2 festivals where we danced together and it felt like everybody was watching us. It's this odd thing, and people like stopped and would just watch, which is kind of also how the relationship started, was with a dance. So yes, there was that, but there was definitely still a feeling that there's this person, your person, or that used to be your person, but now not. So where I would normally have gone to go and check and just check in, like you want a drink or something. That's not there. So now I'm like, okay, I would normally have gone from this dance or having 3 dances to go, well, we know what
We're doing enough. Yeah.
let's just find somebody else. And then, of course, there's the other side of seeing each other dance with other people and knowing that this person is not going home with you. Right? That's a different side.
Are we still talking about... Okay. No, who's going where, who, where?
Yeah. Yeah. This is not after the breakup. So I'm saying, look, what I mean is you used to know that this was your person. You used to
But you leave it together.
Okay, and then...
It's-
Now that's not the case.
Right.
So you're like, it was like the habits that were there were now different. And I guess that was one of the difficulties. Yeah, we still speak.
Okay.
And one of our relationship love languages was music, right? So we would share music, which we still kind of do from time to time now. So like there are those kind of things that there's a gap. Like you now saying, oh, but I would normally speak to this person about this, or there's this new song that came out but that person's not there. So now you gotta just divert your energy into something else for a bit until that makes sense. But it wasn't so bad for us sharing the scene. And that's the other thing. Yes, we still see each other on the scene from time to time, festivals and things like this. But it's different. It's different.
Do you feel like either of you got branded in some type of way once the community then finds out that, yeah, you're not the poster child anymore?
Man, so I'll speak in general, but the scene treats males and females differently, and that's a fact.
Guys, man, you look at me something to say. Oh my God.
I'm thinking men, according to you, would go through worse or really a difference negatively.
No. So so females generally get treated worse on the scene. That's just what
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so too.
Females get
I definitely believe so.
there's a brand that happens for the female. For the male,
Do you think that's the case? But let us know what you think if men and women are treated differently on the dance floor. Of course, put it on the comments. Let us know what it is that you think, if you've been treated differently and why that you've been treated differently. Feel free to share. Again, this is all about sharing our experience and sharing our connections. But tell us why.
I don't even just to jump in on that, because I agree women are treated differently. And I'm not racist, but particularly black women. Particularly black women, I think, and even in festivals, the black women will not get asked to dance. The black guys will dance.
Yes.
In fact, the black guys will have very many dancers. You're laughing, Michael, because I know you know it's true. But as a black woman, you will sit on the sides. Your white sisters will be asked to dance way before you do. And should you then be asked and you happen then to dance well, it opens the door to other guys coming to us. But even black guys will ask white women to dance before. Yeah.
I think we've had this discussion before, but I found, actually, so my brother and I make a point. We found that black women and bigger women don't get as many dances. So especially if we're at a festival, we're like, no, the sisters, we have to make sure that they can dance first, because oftentimes when you dance with them, they are the lightest followers. They dance really well, and after that, then they get more dances. But it's something that I think is what I'm saying. Males and females get treated totally different on the scene. Even instructors, but okay, that's another topic.
Yes, I want you to tell us about what it is that you felt you were treated differently in terms of, did you have it on a brand? What did you start dancing differently? Did you feel the need to explain to everyone what was going on?
Look, people obviously asked, well, what happened? You guys were like the perfect couple. So of course there was that. But besides that, females would be more open with Like people would be, because they knew.
The female.
Hey,
okay.
I mean, listen, so people knew I was in a relationship. It was very clear. There was no, I wasn't going to. It's going to be very clear and very intentional that I was in a relation. So they can see that there's no way that there's a. But the moment you break up, hey, you get messages and things like that. And look, it's similar for females, I think. But obviously, males and females, and I'm going to generalize a bit, deal with breakups differently.
Yes.
Especially. So there's the other side where they're not coming and the scene is now not a nice place at all. For me, I was like, hey, this is all I've got right now. So the scene got me through a divorce. The scene is going to get me through this breakup. So I went back to doing this again,
Okay. So I guess then what I'd flip for you is the opposite side, which is I think you're laughing because you know I'm about to ask if the roles were reversed for you, as being a woman, a married woman, and your partner all of a sudden picks up an interest in wanting to join the community of dance, whether it's coming to dance Afro, Latin, Kizomba, whatever it is, and then you're then forced to not be on the scene. How would that be different for you? Would it be any different at all?
Gosh, that's the one that's a lot because, okay, there's me not being in the scene because he is in the scene. That's already difficult because I love dancing so much. Whether or not I'm in a relationship, so it's something that I gravitate to away from even the Afro-Latin scene. So growing up, I was the child in doing traditional dances, competitions in school, competition in churches. So it's something that I will find whatever space I'm in, season in life or physically, whatever region that I'm in. So him dancing and me not dancing because me not dancing because he's in the scene, that will be quite difficult. However, if he joins the dance scene right now, man, I will need 10 years to go through.
Some version of acclimatization.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that will be different because now I can only imagine him dancing, Tarashinya with other ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will be difficult. Something to, okay, of course, knowing will come with a lot of communication, assurance. Again, other things of a relationship away from dance, It was just like assuming he picked up what other hobby will be so different. Golf.
Yeah, that's exactly what came to my mind. I was thinking if you're probably happy with him going to play golf, and then
But golf doesn't have like this.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to look for something that has contact, would have, contact, a lot chicks,
More women in it.
I mean, that will be different. That will be an interesting thing. But we have to throw the same back at you guys.
yeah.
If you were not, or you're dancing, your significant other is a dancer, but your son, you have to take her time off
From the dance.
from the dancing, whether it's because of, I don't know, work pressures or whatever it is, whether you guys would be okay with
Yeah, sure.
your woman habitually going out.
Am I not there because I'm injured or something? What is the injury for me not being?
My leg is missing.
Yeah, it could be anything. Injured or
Work.
Work.
The case.
let's say work.
Okay, so let me add this dynamic. So when myself and my ex, when we first started going up, we were in different places, different cities. So she would be going out, obviously, to dancing by herself, not with me there. And I would be in my city going out. So I guess there's kind of this thing of, but we're both going out separately. And at that time, I think nobody knew that there was something between us. But there was still, we were building. And potentially, I mean, anything could have happened. And yeah, there were times you wonder, but we had ways of checking in. And so obviously because of my profession and everything, so we were big on expectations. We would have regular expectations, talk on how would this be managed up with that. And as things come up, we would discuss things. So I think, look, we understand it, but I think it'll be different long term. So there have been times like nights where, she's gone out and I've not been there, or there's been a social, or she did a party or something. Yeah, what can I do? Understanding it. And of course, she would make a point of saying if there was something inappropriate. Likewise, from my sister.
Yeah, I would never say anything. No, I mean, no, I mean, because I've, to answer that, I think like typically being a Kenyan man, I'd like to know exactly that my woman is safe, she's happy, she's feeling euphoric about what it is that she's participating in, whether I'm there or whether I'm not there. And if she's gone out specifically for dance because we both love to have dance together, then I'm happy for her. Would I be jealous? More likely not. I would be feeling FOMO. I want to be there. I want to enjoy what it is that she's also enjoying, whether we're dancing together or not. If it comes to the aspect of seeing or looking at my woman who I'm dating or married to dancing tarashinya or dancing compa or dancing kizomba in a certain way, or even bachata, because they do that.
Bachata can be quite sensual, yeah.
Yeah, that thing that you guys like to do. would I be feeling some type of way? From my experience, I try not to pay attention. I don't. I try not to. If I end up glancing because I'm dancing by chance that I see, I fully turn away consciously.
Yeah.
Because I find that that ignorance is bliss for me. If I don't know and it's not important, I don't need to know. I'm perfectly happy with it. There's nothing that's gonna come out of it for me seeing a guy try to dance provocatively with somebody that I'm dating. It helps me in no way whatsoever. And do I think that the opposite could happen? I'm dating somebody, I'm dancing with somebody, and my other half is watching me being grinded on by somebody. You said the leg goes missing.
You lose your leg. Like at least 4 minutes, your leg is not yours anymore. It's part of the scene.
Exactly.
You gave it up.
So do I expect it to fully turn around and look in the opposite direction? It would be helpful. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's just, I think there's no particular blueprint. Clearly, we've had 4 different experiences, and there's no fine blueprint or procedure set out for anyone who's dating or having a relationship, even friendship sometimes, on the dance floor. It's just you have to be able to create something that is custom for the two of you or to work, because there's polygamous people, I think we talked about, and it's just a way of figuring out whatever it is that you require and finding a way to give that to your partner and them doing the same for you in that respect.
So going back to Mazel is saying about expectations as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who are male friends who were always the, super open, progressive types, very comfortable with their girlfriends, into whatever it is that they're into. But the minute they decide that this is the one or they're getting married, will specifically say, you can only dance salsa. I don't want you dancing bachata or kizomba with anybody. And it becomes a big enough issue. And those women slowly falling off the scene because they're like, it's just not worth, like I'm not going to come to a social, especially here when we play, the 3, the salsa bachata kizomba. Yeah, Kirk even worse. They just get to a point like, I don't want to go home and lie that I didn't dance bachata or kizomba yet. You're at this social. You're not going to only restrict yourself to salsa. And then I also have friends who, are divorced, so, started taking up salsa, bachata, or kizomba classes. And then because they're obviously open to meeting people, will go on dates. And the minute they mention that they're into salsa, bachata, kizomba, the guy's like, no woman of mine is going to be, grinding up with other men, which is... Again, it's an expectation and an understanding thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, interesting topic.
Yes, I think we've been here for quite some time, and I don't think it's gonna get any lighter. But I guess just to kind of close it up in terms of what it is that we, or everybody who's watching and listening, can be able to then pay attention to. I don't want to say follow because there's like you said, there's no blueprint. But somebody who can be able to follow something that they require, because there's people out here who are trying to look for love, specifically on the dance floor. Like we said, we're never going to be able to date anyone. I'm never going to date anyone who's not on dance scene. So what would you, as a married person who's in dance, be able to tell people, look out for A, B, C, if it works for you and you like it this way, then go for it. Or would you just tell them, listen, stay away from to anyone who says, oh, you look pretty, run opposite direction? What would you tell them?
Okay, let me just start from, I understand it can be a bit difficult, especially for the older generation of people who are not in the dancing. Who may not understand that kizomba is, that's just a dance. It's the music and I'm just dancing kizomba and it's nothing. So for instance, in my case, before I got married, my dad was very clear that no man will want to be with our lady or, who dancing, for various reasons, including coming home late, because of course the socials and things that you do after work. So that is also something, depends, because there are men or women who want their, partners to be home by 6 p.m.
Yeah.
If you're leaving work at 5, then you have to be home by 6:30 or whatever. But now you're leaving.
South Africa too?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But then now you're leaving work and then you want to go for, your downtime, whatever. And when you're home by 11 p.m. or, was 3 a.m. What time did you sleep yesterday?
Four.
So-
Four. This festival. We were together.
So anyway, I do understand the difficult thing from that perspective, but I will say the two of you need to be cool. So it's away from the dance, it's more about the relationship and individually the kind of person that you are. So understand yourself, know who you are. That also helps with the security and the trust thing. So, if you can also be occupied, generally speaking. If you're dating someone, again, away from dance, who is always, not busy and you're always busy, it sort of comes with a bit of you're not compatible. Because you're looking forward to being with this person, talking to them, they're not replying to your messages because they're genuinely engaged in something else. So it does help if you have something that you're doing, if there's a hobbies thing that you're separately into, if this person is not a dancer, in my case, for instance, and also being cool. And then now you can come in together and do whatever kind of thing.
So like not have people try to find happiness from somebody else. Find your own happiness inside, then share it with somebody else.
And also when I'm coming to dance, even if you're dating, it's not from a disparate perspective. It's a social place to come meet people. So, and you're not getting validation from the person you're dancing with or trying to get with, or even the scene itself.
Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing news. How about you? Would you tell them then dance a certain way when you're in a relationship and dance a certain way when you're not?
No, I strongly believe that people need to be authentic in who they are, and I believe that the other person should meet you where you're at, and vice versa. This thing of changing people or trying to dictate how somebody should behave, I think that's what, and I've been a parent, that's what you tell kids. You should behave like this, do this, And I've been in relationships where I'm being told what I can and can't do. And I do have a rebellious streak. If somebody tells me not to do something, that's when I want to do it. And go, full log and whatever. So no, I'm a big believer in just be you and just be authentic. And if you're respectful of your partner, you're not deliberately going to do something that offends them. Obviously within reason. This also assumes that the person is, again, I go back to that emotional maturity and whatever values that bind, the two together.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good way to look at it from the women's perspective. For Basil, I have an interesting one for you.
Okay.
In general, other people as well, are looking for love out in the community. As a man,
Yes.
what do I need to do? Because I'm looking for love out here.
Okay.
I'm talking in perspective for the other people.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things. I think the first thing is we must know that the foundation for any relationship, whether it's business, romantic, or anything, is mutual respect. If you don't have that, you're not building on anything solid, right? And it's an important thing. So if you want to date in the scene, my advice would be spend a lot of time building it privately and with respect. I say that because the scene can be very harsh, man.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a piece of you.
Especially
and your
when you're
relationship.
with someone.
Hey, it's worse. So you wanted to be there. By the time they realize you're in a relationship, it's too late. You know it. The other thing that I want to say is and I think this touched on what was said before, but you have to have your own happiness. Right? What the other thing I want to add to that is dance is the vehicle towards happiness. It isn't happiness in itself. Don't get that twisted, because if you do, you're going to blame dance for whatever, but dance is not the thing.
Say it,
right?
Say it again one more time.
Okay. So dance is the vehicle that takes you to the happiness. It isn't happiness in itself, because otherwise you're putting a lot of pressure on dance, which is not. It's not dance's fault. You blame dance for your relationships or nothing or something else, and it's not dance's fault. Dance is neutral. Dance just is.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that because you probably have noticed that people that are very happy, they attract others who are seeking that happiness. And so if you're looking for love, don't seek somebody else's happiness. Have your own. They must have their own, and together you guys make more. But if you are looking for somebody else's happiness, then there's a lot of work that's needed inside. So yes, that one. What else do I want to add?
So don't just go for the pretty one.
It's like life, man. You know, it's very difficult. But you know, it ties into what was said before. But authentically, be a good person. Be yourself. Be happy within yourself.
Yeah.
So that technically you don't need a partner, but you're saying, hey man, there's somebody that I want to share life with. One of the biggest things that I find with people, the biggest issue is a fragmented sense of self. Okay, we get too deep on this, but you know, just spend a bit of time with yourself. In fact, I advise people to date themselves. If you're looking for love and you want to date somebody, spend time dating yourself. Get to know yourself well, what you like, what you don't like, etc., etc. I call it master dating. Date yourself, right? And yes, I want to say to everybody as well, just please respect the scene. It's very important for me and for us here. So, don't fall for your first dance crush.
Well, every beginner has one. Every dancer has one.
And also for those instructors, please guys, don't mess it up right at the beginning. You know,
Take it back.
we know that especially the ladies fall for you because you're an instructor, or you were nice, or you were patient with them.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Me neither, but I've heard about it. So if it's infatuation, then don't pursue it at that moment. Just spend time getting to know the person as you would outside. It's quite an important thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Oh, this has been awesome, guys, having you on board and us sharing our experiences as well. I think we're getting closer every time we do one of these episodes. Okay, and on social medias, you can definitely find them. I think you mentioned on all platforms, it's
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Passion en Fuego.
Passion and Fuego. And for Chief, you don't need any more followers. You're already done. Yeah, don't fight me. Okay.
Only on Facebook.
Okay, Facebook. No worries. It's been amazing, guys, having the people. If you, of course, have something you want to add or want us to be able to do another repeat episode and have the same people on board, feel free to jump it on the comments, and we'll definitely do our best to have another round too. Because I think this is a bit.
Shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hair sound. Hey, I like that. Okay. So thank you guys again, and we'll see you on the next one. We have been
Anne-Marie Virgo on Instagram.
and Michael O'Brien. We'll see you on the next one.